Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today, we're flying the Cirrus SR22 into and out of two new airports up in Alaska. We're going out of Ruby, and we're flying into Unalakleet. It's going to be what looks like a 44-minute flight if we go at 16,000 feet. It's going to be a 37-minute flight if we go at 20,000 feet. I haven't decided on an altitude. Let's see. Oh, we could actually 18,000 is an option today as well, and that would give us a 45-minute flight. So yeah, we'd either go at 16 or 20. Okay, map is saying 148 miles. Yep, looks like we've got everything loaded in. Climb aboard, let's go flying. Hey, Maria. Out! Oops, wrong name. Yeah, not quite. You're on the right track, though. Alright, there we are, the Ruby Airport. It is a pretty small town. Oh, it's pretty out here, though. Alright, we're loaded in. Let's go ahead. On the right track. Hope I'm not on the runway. Oh, the plane is rocking a little bit. Oh, but this is beautiful scenery. And take a look at the sunset. Right off the wing. Man, that is gorgeous. Alright. I'm not going to let that distract me too much. The first thing we're going to do is release the parking brake. And we're going to get a pushback. So we have enough... Oh, wait, what? Hold on a second, what's going on? We're pushing back and he hasn't even hooked up to us. Oh, man. Okay. And we just tipped the plane over on the ground. And it didn't render a collision. Look at this. How did that happen? Oh no. We're gonna restart that. That was so bugged. Yeah, it's rocking back and forth. It's not on totally level ground. So, who parked this plane? Good question. Not me. All right, parking brake off, and a very short pushback. Just tap the brakes very gently. Whoa, and it almost did the exact same thing. I'm not sure what's going on with that. That's really weird. Bromic, what's going on? Welcome. I've heard of autopilot, but that's ridiculous. Yes! Alright, while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick check. Rudder's good. Elevator's good. Ailerons are good. We cannot check the flaps because the battery switches are not on. So back into the cockpit. The ground is icy. I mean, that could be. I don't think so. It's dry. I mean, there's snow on the ground, but it's dry. Alright, let's initialize, get that set up. But just take a look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. This is why I love flying up here in the winter. CDI to GPS. Alright, I'm going to set this to 16,000 feet to start. And we can decide to go up to 20 if we want. It'll shave a little bit of flight time off, but basically by the time we get airborne, we'll just be climbing straight up, and by the time we reach 20,000 feet, we'd pretty much be starting a descent. Alright. Flaps at half now. They're good. Back into the cockpit. Parking brake is set. That's important. See what is going on with all of that. Plane is saying it's too cold. I ain't going anywhere. Nah, not a such thing with this. It's actually not that cold. Comparatively. It's minus 13 Celsius, which I believe is 9 above Fahrenheit. It's a lot colder in a couple other places. We're actually going to be flying over them. Okay. Let's clear all of that. Lights are good. We can go ahead and get the plane set up. Yeah, mixture started at full rich. Yesterday, on our flight in California, it actually started at idle cutoff where it's supposed to. I don't know what it is, that it just seems variable. Boost pump on, the mixture's full rich. Now we're going to go full forward on the throttle, and we're going to cut it, and then we're going to bump it just a tiny bit forward. One check. Clear left, beautiful sunset. Clear right, beautiful beacon tower, I guess that is, radar tower. Clear! Alright, engine's running, oil pressure's immediately up into the green. Oil temperature is beginning to rise, battery amperage is in the yellow. Oh no. Meant to click this alternator switch right here. Alright, now now we have a charge. That's good. We can turn the avionics on. We'll need to turn the pitot heat on because it is below 4 Celsius. Which is about 40 Fahrenheit. If it's below 40 Fahrenheit, the pitot heat goes on. Okay. So that's initialized. Let me get the FLC. We're going to set it to 110. VNav on. I'm going to leave nav off, and I think we're going to set the heading. There's a little bit of a turn once we get airborne, and then there is a little bit of terrain that we have to keep an eye out for. Oil temperature's up at 47. It needs to get to 100 before we take off, so we're going to do a run-up right here on the ramp. So we're going to go up to 1700 RPMs. Oh, oil pressure's in the yellow. We're going to cut the power back. It is helping it warm up, so we're actually going to have to sit here. I'll real quick do a little preview. Our route today, this is Ruby, a very, very small, I think it's actually an abandoned, almost abandoned town. There are like some cabins and there might be still remnants of a really small village here. I could be mixing that with something else. This is the Yukon River. If we were to go all the way back here to Tanana, that is where the Tanana River, that runs by Fairbanks, and the Yukon River, which runs up to Fort Yukon, where that merges. All of this here is the Yukon River. We're going to the southwest. We'll get, some pretty mountains. We're going over a couple airports. Galena, where it is currently extremely cold. Nulato? No, that's Nulato right there. That's Koyukuk. Fun name. Kaltag. And then Unalakleet over here on the coast, pretty much of the Bering Sea. If any of you have ever heard of this show Flying Wild Alaska, it was on probably 15 years ago. Maybe not quite that long. They were based out of Unalakleet. It's actually a pretty good-sized hub for western, like the Bering Sea area, western Alaska. And other than Nome, I believe Unalakleet is actually the biggest community in this portion of western. Now, if you get into southwest, it's a little bit of a different story. Alright, our oil temperature is up to 89, so I think we can continue with the run-up here. So let's put the power back up and let's see what it does. It's right on the edge of the green and yellow. We should be okay. Alright, do a mag check real quick. Good drop. Back to both. I'll do a drop to the left. Good. Back to both. Engine instruments are looking good. We have no warnings or errors or cautions. Well, we do have an advisory. It's just the roll mode. Probably because the wings are not totally level. That's alright though. Because we're on this slope here. We can go ahead and cut the power back. And oil temperatures up into the green. We are good. Release the parking brake and we're going to taxi out. Come on now. Alright, just nice and gentle over here. Very easy taxi to the runway. Yeah, look at the ground is definitely uneven. In the real world, I do not think this is a paved runway. I think it's actually gravel. Alright. Set that parking brake real quick. I want to grab the weather, just see what the wind is doing. Ruby. 050 at 4, so it's a little bit actually out of the... Excuse me, the east. But we can take off to the west with a slight tailwind. It's fine. 30.14 minus 13. Clear skies, 10 miles visibility, so that's all good. So... Oh, that's the end of the runway. We can turn right and take off. We've got enough to work with there. Alright. Let's release the parking brake and... Turn here, get lined up. I'm holding the brake. I am going to turn the heading on. Set to our current direction. FLC is on. That's all good. Alright. We are good. Here we go. Full power. Engine instruments are good. Airspeed is alive. We're looking at 77 knots. We'll rotate. Up. Perfect. Alright, we're climbing out. Oh, yes. Take a look at that. That is beautiful. Flaps up. We'll pitch up a little bit more. Try to keep that speed between 100 and 110. So we're climbing out. We do have a little terrain, but we have no red. Alright, we're about 1,000 feet above the ground. We can engage the autopilot. It's going to pitch us up. We're going to continue to climb. It's actually minus 11, so it's warmer as we're going up. Probably because of that temperature inversion. And we are actually good to swing the heading over and turn nav on. It'll intercept the GPS track, and we'll be on our route. There's a beautiful view of the Yukon River. Let's already go take a look outside. It really doesn't seem like much, but the view of the mountains back here, the view of the Yukon right here, this is Ruby. And... yeah, it's not quite as mountainous as other parts of the state, but you do get some of those rolling hills and kind of more, I guess you could say, gentle mountains in this area. It really is quite pretty. Alright, we're turning on course to intercept the GPS track here. 4,000 feet, and tell you what, we're going to go ahead and pull the power back down to 30.5 on the manifold pressure right here. Come up. Throttle's being a little bit sensitive right now. So probably okay right there. Alright, and we're going to lean the mixture back right down to 20 gallons of fuel flow per hour. And that's peak power. We should be at about 89 to 90%. Yeah, we're right there at 90. That's good. I love planes. What's going on, man? Yep. Yeah, well, I did a flight yesterday. And then I'm doing another one today. That is beautiful. Cold, but beautiful. It's chilly. By Alaska standards. It's really cold for most people, but it's definitely relatively mild by Alaska standards for this part of the state. I'll just pull up the route again, and I had looked at actually going out of Galena, which is right here. That temperature right there, minus 24, that is minus 13, no, minus 11 Fahrenheit, so it's considerably colder over here in Galena. Which just tends to be, if you look at it, it's sitting right in this valley, along with Koyukuk. So, even when the surrounding airports like over here and Ruby are a little bit warmer, Galena can be just a little bit of a pocket of extremely cold air. I think last winter they reported a temperature of like minus 58 Fahrenheit, which brr. And the visibility is not very good. 3 miles and haze, but it's clear. Probably the inversion is extreme over there. Caltag, minus 25 at Caltag, and then it's actually only minus 7, which is 20 Fahrenheit at Unalakleet. So yeah. Some sunset flight action, yeah. Alright, it's minus 20 here at altitude. Coming up just almost at 10,000 feet. So, we have a decision to make, and I'm actually going to pull this up on the Sky Vector for you all to see. So this is our chart. This is Ruby, Galena, Nalato, Caltag, and Unalakleet. When I type in 20,000 feet, it tells us 37 minutes, and that is because of... Look at that wind. That's really good, a 35 knot tailwind. If we switch it down to 18,000, the flight time goes to 45 minutes, because... Oh no, you know what? Yeah, you know what it is. It's not calculating climb and descent, so it's actually going to be longer than 37 minutes. So if we go at 18,000, it's going to be 45. If we go at 20, it's probably going to be about 45 anyway. So I think what we actually will do is just fly at 18,000 feet. I mean, we could even do... I pulled Sky Vector off. But if we did 16,000, it's actually less, so we're going to leave it at 16. Actually getting 32 knots of tailwind if we go at 16, so it's not worth climbing at 20. So we'll stick with that. We could go 18, but not really much of a difference. You can see a little bit more of the kind of the flat terrain and the snow around. As we get higher, you can see more terrain around you and stuff like that. So this is Ruby right back here from where we took off. And pretty view of the mountain. Oh, look back here! Actually see another set of mountains back here. I'm not sure exactly what these are. Those are... I gotta look it up. Oh, just some patches of mountains before the Brooks Range is too far away for us to see right now. Haven't flown the SR22 in a while. Oh, man. Well, you know it's my favorite plane. I love it. Strawberry Jam, what's going on? PC2 today also. I'm not sure. If I do, it will probably be a relatively short. It'll be a pretty short stream. But I might. I haven't ruled it out, so we'll see. Alright, let's go in. We just leveled off here and we're starting to speed up. We can lean that just a little bit more. Yeah, here we go. 34 knot is what that's saying. So it's really about a 31... Yeah, 32, 33 knot tailwind component. Unfortunately, the sunset right now is blocked by this. So if we want to see it, we can go outside and look. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty... Do I own a plane or did? No, I wish. I actually do own a plane. I own a ton of them in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's the only possible way I'd be able to afford a plane. I do fly in the real world, although I haven't in a long time. It's very rare. So there's actually a good bit of haze right down here. So this is Galena. Relatively small town. Really cold right now. Supposed to snow here on Thursday all day long. I'm sad. Oh, that sucks. It's gonna be chilly here, but I mean, it snows very rarely here in well, at least in this part of South Carolina where I'm at. It does snow in the upstate where you get the mountains and the foothills and stuff. So. Yeah, so that's... Oh, you can still see the airport a little bit. You can see the beacon for Ruby. And then this here is Galena, as I mentioned. If we zoom way in and look in the distance, that's a set of mountains out over by Caltag. I don't think we can quite see the water yet. But it'll be a little bit further that way. Alright, oh, I go back into the cockpit. Yeah, cruising, our ground speed is 245 knots. That's really good for this plane. The interesting thing, too, is the wind is actually moving from east to west. That's pretty unusual. Usually the winds aloft go from west to east. So they're kind of backward up here. But that actually works out to our advantage, so hey. Zoom out on the map, and we'll just sit back and kind of enjoy minus 30 up here. That is minus 22 Fahrenheit. That's to be expected for this altitude up here. Oh, really, Maria? On a flying motorcycle, but in GTA Online. Oh, man. Oh, hey, look at the moon. It's not very easy to see, but you can kind of make it out right there. Crescent moon. Not really much to see out there. Now, if we look, now we're a little closer. We might get a slightly better view of it. Where is it? I can't see it. Hold on. Oh, yeah, right here. So this is Galena, right here. The airport and then the town, I think, is sitting right back over here. Right on the bank of the Yukon. Alright, these are the mountains kind of on the west side of the Yukon as it curves this way. Kaltag would be somewhere over here. And if any of you are familiar with the Iditarod Trail, they actually... So, that... The sled dog race going from Anchorage up through kinda to here, and then it splits depending on the year. They might either go south to like Nikolai, McGrath, some of these towns that I'm really not familiar with down here, or they actually go up this way to Ruby and Galena, and then down. I think they merge in Kaltag, and then you cut across kind of through this little valley here. There's a little pass you gotta go through, and then you go to Unalakleet, Shaktuluk, Koyuk, and then some other towns, and of course the race ends in Nome. Gotta go attend a class, see you later. Alright, I Love Planes, great to see you. Thanks for hanging out. It also shoots guided missiles, so convenient. Maria. Oh, man. Alright. And this is saying 25 minutes en route, so we're actually going to cruise here pretty happy for a little while. So we'll actually pass almost directly over Kaltag. We should get a pretty decent view of it. So we'll check that out here in a bit. Oh, that is pretty out there. This is extremely remote western Alaska. Like much of the state, but even to a greater extent. Yeah, I wasn't initially planning on streaming tonight, but I said I needed to, just to have a little bit of fun, clear my head. I had a terrible day, so. And I ain't looking for sympathy. It's frustrating, and this is a good way for me to just channel some of that frustration into something that I really enjoy and can think and focus my mind. It's almost like a distraction, but I won't even call it a distraction. I call it more of a conversion. Like, turn that frustration into, like, more positive energy. Do something you enjoy. Isn't Fury 325 the only roller coaster that crosses into another state and back during the ride? Yes, I believe so. Because Carowinds is the only park that's situated in 2 states. And it only very, very briefly. So the treble clef is in South Carolina, and then when it drops underneath the bridge, that bridge is actually the boundary between oh, we got a repeat of music there. Ah! Sorry, I lost track of something. Let me come back up and pull this. Dale, what's going on? Am I flying to PC2? If you can find a really cold theme park, we'll go with yes. If you can find a theme park in Alaska, let me know. It's like meditation. You don't need to focus on anything but something you love. Forget it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but anyway, strawberry jam, going back to that there, it's, yeah, so the treble clef is in South Carolina, and then when it dives back underneath the bridge, that footpath, I believe, actually separates the two states, but I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Where that's at. Unless there's a slight turn and it's offset, but the vast majority of the coaster actually does sit in North Carolina. So it's not like half and half. Maria, pirate cookie too. And yeah, we're kicking butt here with a 34 knot tailwind, so we're really booking it across the ground. This is working out nicely. This is saying 20 minutes. We'll need to plan about 15 minutes to go. We'll need to start a descent. So we'll actually need to start looking at the weather here in a moment. Just a quick look outside. We still have the sun. And is that the water out there? I don't know. I do see some terrain rising. So I don't think it's quite it. So these are kind of the flats. It's a little similar to the flats up around Fort Yukon and stuff, but let me just check the map real quick. No, we're still a little ways away. It sits on the back side of the river. Yeah, so Caltech I think is over here. If I'm looking at it right. We'll see it in a minute. We'll get a better view. But okay, no, now we definitely do see the water right out here. And then we've got these mountains. These are not very tall, but they are jagged. It's actually pretty. Snow-capped, of course, this time of year. And I want to say, I think this is one of the places that is actually prettier in the winter than in the summer. I really think there's a whole lot to see. There's a bit of tundra, but there is still some forest over here. Cookie Pirate should buy Six Flags America. Ooh, I wish I had the money for that. Keep it open. Set some real good stuff up. Maria. Oh, rolling in with the jokes tonight. Oh, man. You are a riot. And Alaska. I have to buy Alaska. Oh, man. When PC2 gets snow, you can build an Alaskan theme park. Well, not exactly, but I had talked about doing the Yukon theme. I definitely want to mess around with that festive theme, scenery and stuff like that, like a Christmas town. That'd actually be really fitting for like a Yukon themed park. You'd have like winter, then you'd have like a summer area. That'd be really neat. Fuel imbalance. I forgot to switch that. See, that triggered late. Wasn't Alaska Seward's Folly? Yes, it was, but it sure was no folly. Six Flags over literally the middle of nowhere. Oh, man. Alright, that'll take a minute to clear. 17 minutes. Let's grab the weather at Unalakleet, because we're getting close. Yeah, we're just past the halfway point. Not available. Alright. I'm gonna get it from the map. Cirrus. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Alright, this is gonna be a pain in the butt. 19 gusting to 26 knots, and it's coming basically from the direction we're flying. We're gonna have a furious crosswind. Probably gonna come in runway 33. So we fly to the south. Give me just a sec, folks. Alright, sorry about that. Quick phone call. Attendant, I'll need 2 vodka tonics, a sedative, and a barf bag. Oh my gosh. Alright, so let's, yeah, we need to start descending here. Let's go ahead. Let's set that down to 5,000. Should be a safe altitude to begin with. And I'm going to set the FLC, and we're going to pull the power back. I want to try to target about 1,000 foot per minute descent. That's too much, so we're going to add the power back in. POV's coming in from Six Flags, Qiddiya City. It looks awesome. Colossus runs fast. Maria, we only have cookies right now. Oh, man. Alright, so we're going to set an approach. Let me pull the weather back up just real quick. Still not available, even as we're getting closer. Come on. Alright, so let's go in over here. Come on. There we go. Alright, 10 miles visibility, clear skies, -7. 30.10, so we'll actually set that here. And I think we're just going to choose the visual runway 33. Load, but not active. Oh yeah, see, it's sending us out. Alright, so what we're going to do is actually... Oh, hold on. Set direct to that fix, and that'll target the descent. Actually bump just a tad bit more power in. It'll probably be last. Torment is almost topped out in Texas. Skip that. So we flew over it, but Caltag is right there. You can see the runway pretty clearly, right there at the edge of the Yukon. And there is nothing else until we get to Unalakleet, which is, of course, where we're starting our descent into. So this all up here, of course, is the Bering Sea. And if we were to look up at that... Oh, you actually can see it. That's the Seward Peninsula out that way. Nome is too far to see from here, but it would be out that direction. And it's kind of cool, because actually, if you look up this way, you can kind of see where the bay closes in. That is pretty. Sorry, your passengers are talking coasters. Alright, so this is gonna be quite a challenge. Pretty difficult landing, I think. So we're gonna do our best. I hope that wind does settle down a little bit, but no telling. Colossus starting to look like a GCI masterpiece. Why? Alright, our descent rate is pretty well on target. Let me just check the chart for... we could actually, by the time we get to it, we can go... Well, it's pretty flat out there. We could really go all the way down to like 2,000 to 3,000. So we'll set to 3 and we'll just watch the terrain. We should get updated weather actually in just a couple minutes. So we'll pull that up momentarily and just see if we have any changes. Yeah, so I honestly don't know if I'm going to end up doing PC2. By the time I'm finished with this, it'll probably be about 8:15. There's a chance I'll actually try to just go ahead and stream that tomorrow. And then I can just do the computer stuff, you know, late in the evening and into Thursday, and hopefully have it ready for Thursday night. I definitely do want to try to do some PC2 and perhaps some flight sim on Thursday for Thanksgiving. I mean, I'm not expecting much of a turnout just because it's a holiday. People are probably going to be with their families, friends, whoever. And, but we'll see. Maria! Does the computer stuff include installing Skyrim? Yes, it does, but I don't know how soon I'll get around to that, setting up the mods for it and everything, but yes. Oh, you are ultra eager for Skyrim. I have to say, if you've never watched any Skyrim streams of mine, they're pretty funny, from what most people say. I do like to roleplay. Oh. Ooh. Ha, that sounded really bad. Sorry about that. I should clarify that when I'm playing Skyrim, I like to roleplay as a character that I set up when I interact with the other characters, have the fights and stuff. Let me make that clarification there. Yeah, Harvey, welcome. I am new, just sub. Hey, I appreciate that so much. Alright, we actually need to steepen our descent right here. So I'm gonna try to get the VNAV to take back over. I'm gonna turn the FLC off, and I'm gonna pull back on the power, down about that 35%. 35 to 40. A new person joins the stream, meanwhile, Cookie Pirate. Yeah, thank God Dale missed that one. All the way from Australia, alright, that's awesome. I had a couple viewers occasionally from Australia, and I think I had one from New Zealand. Might have also been Australia. That's really cool, I appreciate you joining. Alright, so the Bering Coast. Actually, as we get lower, though, you can still see a little bit of the terrain out this direction, the Seward Peninsula. Out that way would be Nome. It is actually getting pretty as we're coming in out here. Air Force is retiring the Hornets. Aww. Alright, I'm looking. It might be hidden behind some of this terrain, but I'm just looking for the airport. Oh, that's... Yeah, that's it right there. That's not the runway we're landing on, but that's... Yeah, that's right over there. Could this plane do a Sydney to New Zealand flight? Ooh. I don't know. That would be really close. If it could. I mean, you'd probably have to go light and you'd have to go full fuel. You might be able to pull it off, but I'm not thinking it could. It would probably be pretty close. That'd be something interesting to look into. I could actually check that at the end of the flight. Remind me, and we'll look it up. So, the interesting thing, it was basically sunset right about when we took off out of Ruby. But as we're going westbound, we've got such good speed that the sun is actually coming back up a little bit, and it hasn't set over here in Unalakleet yet. It will in a few minutes. It's kind of remarkable. Kind of interesting. Alright, we are good to go down to 2,000. All of this that's black on the map, we're over 2,000 feet above the ground. Everything in green is 2 to 1. Everything in yellow is 1,000. And everything in red is less than 100 feet. So basically above us. And we're not seeing any of that right now. Zoom in on the map. Alright, and we're going to pull the power to idle. We're going to do that just to get... get set up here. Oh, come on. Grab that. Activate approach. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Alfster Aviation, how are you? Well, I love the SR22, that's awesome. Yeah, it's one of my favorite prop planes. It's really easy to fly, actually. Let's go, yeah, we're below 150. We could go half flaps. We might be a little bit short for it. A little early. Nah, we gotta get slowed down. We'll have to get full flaps by the time we turn final. So yeah, we'll go half flaps now. And let's do a couple checklist items. The mixture needs to go... We're gonna go full rich, and it's actually still low based on the engine power. Boost pump is on. That's good. I don't think we need to change that. Turn the landing light on. Yeah, this is gonna turn us on a final approach for us. Yeah, Maria would be awesome in the new sim. Air Force has the Falcon, Faulk, Growler, Hornet, Globemaster, KC-30, Boeing business jet, PC-21 Roulette, one of the best acrobatic teams in the world, F-35, C-130, C-27. Yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that we have. That's pretty cool. So are you just kind of interested in aviation, or do you fly in the real world, or really for anybody here? Who's new? Like, what's your experience with... We can bump that power back up. What's your experience with aviation and stuff? Alright, it is turning us on to final. We may actually be too high. So I'm going to actually just disengage the autopilot now, and we're going to go ahead and start downward. We could go full flaps. Below 110. And, ooh, look at that. Roll out a little bit. Yeah, we're high, but we've got room to correct. We should have updated weather here. Let me just check it real quick. I don't generally like to do this. I like to stay as focused as I can. 08017, so the wind is tempered down just a tiny bit. -7, 30.10, so that's all set. And yeah, here we are. Hey, we actually can see a little bit of the village. Awesome. We're going right over it. Yeah, this is going to be tough. That's a strong crosswind. Really don't want to land with a crosswind any stronger than we have in this plane. Let's bump the power back up here. We want to maintain about that 80 knots. May take a little bit more. Oh, just a plane spotter. Okay. That's still cool. Alright, I need to add a disclaimer. I do not expect this to be a good landing, so don't be too harsh on me. If it was calm, I would say absolutely make fun of me. That was terrible, but with a potentially a 17 knot crosswind, it's tough. Alright, need to add a little bit more power. We want to keep that speed about 80 knots, but our glide path is really good. So we have a Vassie on the left side of the runway. It's a little tough to see right now, but you'd be looking at 2 white lights in the front and 2 red lights behind it, telling us we're on path. But the other thing you can look at is the purple diamond over by our altitude, telling us that we're on the right slope. Come in nice and easy here. It is getting definitely a bit breezy. Crosswind warning. That's how bad it is. I think we can make it work.
500.
Oh, we're going straight over the town. That's actually really neat. It's got a beautiful view. And look out that way. Water everywhere. Alright, now we're a little fast. Let's take some power out. Try to get slowed down. Come on, wind. Do me a favor. Calm down. Keep a little bit of power in here. Ooh. Yeah, this is fun. If we don't like it, we're going to go around. I'm hoping we'll get it to work out, though. Boy, is this tough. Take that power out. Float her down to the ground. We get a little bit of a break in the wind right here, but not much. That actually wasn't terrible. Definitely favoring the right side. And the reason that I was angled to the right of the center line of the runway is in case we got pushed further left. But there we are. We can actually bring the flaps up and we'll just make a U-turn right out over here and get parked. Look at that real quick. Wow. Sun going down right over the water. That is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Alright, Bromik, have a great evening. Hope you have a safe trip. I thought you were going today. Favorite airline, Qantas is retired, 737. We're getting the A321 XRL to replace it. Yeah, those are good planes. Those 321s are really nice. Would be good if you had Discord, then I can show you the plane spotting pictures. Yeah, I've actually talked about setting one up here. So we're starting to kind of grow the channel a little bit. Alright, don't want to get too fast taxiing. So where we're going to park is we're going to keep going right down off the end, and we're going to make that turn, and all the ramps are over there. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, right over here. Yeah, and it's only -7 over here, so it's much warmer than it was over than over where we were. Not so much over Ruby, but especially Galena and Caltag. Look at all these lights. These are misplaced. Oh, they've got us parking in an interesting spot. Alright, there we are. Parking brake set. Wow. Right by the water, and you can just barely see the sun right there. And we've got the moon. Man. Yeah, beautiful view of the town, too. I don't think there are trees. If there are, they're very few. But nonetheless, a very, very pretty view out over here. So I hope you all enjoy that view. Just barely have the sun. Alright, back into the cockpit. Let's get the plane shut down. Cut the landing light off. Boost pump. Let's go ahead and turn the avionics and the alternator switches off. Airport always gets the E190, 737, A320. If you search up my airport, you can look at it. Oh, Adelaide, yeah, okay. Alright, clear those. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the mixture. Alright, 46 minutes, so that actually took just a tiny bit longer than we had planned. I think I'd said it would be like 43 or 44 minutes, but... Continue. Engine is stopped. Clear those annunciators. Now we can turn the lights off. Magneto's off. And all that's left is the battery switches, and we're shut down. And just get the littlest bit of a trace of the sunset coming over the water. And keep in mind, it's about a quarter after 4 in the afternoon here in Unalakleet. And because it's so far west, the sun sets later, but it also rises really late. I think something like 11 in the morning is the sunrise. Got United Airlines coming next month, December, only to San Francisco. Wow! Well, that's a heck of a flight. You would think they would go into Sydney or maybe Melbourne or Brisbane or something. Or Brisbane, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm not sure if it's Brisbane or Brisbane in the Australian pronunciation. So, alright. I would normally end the stream here, but what I'm going to do is go out and I want to look that up. I think Bromik had asked. I know he's not here now, but just for reference, I'll go ahead and end the flight. So we're all good there, and I'm just going to pull the world map. What did you say? I think you said Sydney to... Sydney to New Zealand, yeah, okay. So what we would do, we have the SR22 selected, so let's go down to Sydney. Just go from the international. There. Cross all of this water. The closest airport would probably be Auckland. Yeah, Wellington's down there, so we'd probably try to get into Auckland. That's a military. Where is... That's not it. Where is Auckland's main airport? Auckland International. There we go. No. Okay, hold on. Alright, so we gotta... select Sydney. Set as departure. 1,168 miles in a 10-hour flight. Yeah, I don't think it would. Even if we were to go into this and 100% fuel, it would not make it. It's close, but no. Now, I bet you if we went somewhere like right down here and cut across maybe to somewhere on the South Island, it might reach. But it would be very difficult. We've got Cathay Pacific, AirAsia, Qatar Airways, Jetstar Alliance, Qantas Link, Malaysian Air, Air New Zealand, Singapore. Holy cow! Oh wow. Let me actually look up and see. Yeah, Adelaide is over here. Okay. Yep. Yeah, it would definitely, on full fuel, it would definitely make it to Adelaide. This would be quite easy. I mean, it would take a bit of time, but you could definitely do that in this plane. So, New Zealand is just out of reach. I bet if you went out of Hobart, you could make it to Queenstown. Let's try that. Curious. Yeah, it's right on the edge. But it would be an extremely long, an 8-hour flight over the water in a prop plane. That would be cruising at probably 25,000 feet. It's just not really a viable option. Pretty fascinating, though. Alright, y'all. Well, that's gonna do it for this flight and for this stream. Those of you that were wondering about Planet Coaster, I don't know if I'm gonna do that tonight. It's already relatively late. I've got some stuff I want to do, and I need to get some extra rest. I was not really feeling great today. So I think I'm gonna target a PC2 stream tomorrow, and we'll do that. I'll have more time at home, so I'll actually have more time to stream. Had to go grocery shopping to get some dinner to cook for Thanksgiving and a couple days afterwards, so. Alright, y'all. Really appreciate you all hanging out with me. Harvey, thank you so much for the sub, like you had mentioned. But yeah, so we'll pick back up tomorrow. We may do an early flight. We'll definitely be doing Planet Coaster. So, appreciate you all, and look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see ya.